found a little glitch that I think you guys be. So I currently have, for some reason, it's really glitched. When I pack punched it, or no, let me start even before that. So when I 60 bullets, with the modifier, it's like 540 bullets. Now it's saying 60 plus 740, which normally would make 80 because it says plus. It doesn't say, okay, you know, including the 60 bullets, then it's like, no, because then that's not plus. Addition means you're adding on to, not to say that, okay, well, the 60 bullets is including the 750, because if there's no including sign, it just says in adding on to, meaning 60 plus 740 is obviously 80. Now, when I first added it and just got the gun from the box, it gave me 750, which again, even if it was including the 60 bullets to the 740, that would mean I would have 740, not 750. So again, that makes no sense. Activision, you really need to get your shit together. That's just one thing. But it did give me 750. I'm like, okay. And this is before I included my Bandolier. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm thinking, let's make it even more. Let's add the Bandolier, because all the previous weapons, Bandolier would increase my weapon at least 200 rounds from what I've noticed, and then for bigger weapons, maybe double what it had before. So, for example, I'm just spitballing here. I don't know all the ammo counts for all the guns and pack punch versus non. But let's say the Titan normally holded 200 or 150. Let's just use that 150 in its mag, and then if I added the something like that, and then that would carry over. So then if it's pack-a-punch, it's usually doubled. So it wouldn't double. I don't think it necessarily would double the amount, including the bandolier. So let's say every time you have a weapon, and this is not always the case, but just generally speaking, if bandolier adds on 200 bullets and then pack-punch doubles, it's not going to double what's already been doubled by 200. It's going to keep that 200 on the side. It's going to double its normal amount, and then bandolier is just going to add 200 to that. Because otherwise, let's say I add Bandolier to 4, you would think that would double, because multiplying would be multiplying what you already have, but it's not. It's only multiplying the gun's original amount, which is confusing, I know, because if that were the case, it would be, from 400 times 2 would be 800, or something ridiculous like that, and it doesn't do that. It's hard to explain, but I don't think the math is different. So even if you switched it, so if you had originally you had 400 reserve and the bandolier got you 600, and let's say Pack-a-Punch did 100% of the time double whatever your reserve ammunition was, which it doesn't, which is stupid, which is confusing, but whatever. It's going to let's just say it did, right? So it would double that, so then double 600 would be 1200 in reserve. But then if I didn't add the bandolier, and then if I just did 400, well then, and if I doubled that, if I pack punch doubled that, then that would be 800, and then adding on 200 would be 1000. See what I'm saying? So multiplying versus adding is different. The bandolier, generally, we're just using what it should be versus what it is. Like, what it is a monstrosity of confusion and makes no sense, and the bandolier does not consistently add 200 bullets to end every gun's reserve. That's just generally what I've seen in most guns, but not all guns, which is frustrating. So, if anyone has an idea of how to fix this, if Activision wants to actually get off their lazy asses and fix this, that'd be amazing. Alright, so obviously there's a 200 difference in ammunition types for if you were to add bandolier and bandolier 100% if, and this is again if a scenario, if bandolier always added 200 reserve to your max reserve cap, and then if you did that before pack punching, and if pack punch worked by multiplying, times 2, which usually it does, and it included the 600, tricking the system, or not even tricking the system, but just making the system understand that it's now the max cap is 600, it would double whatever that is, and it would glitch out because of Bandolier doing that, because Bandolier is part of the game, so it would just accept it as is, and it would double that, and you'd have 200 more ammo reserve than compared to what you would. Now, I think because of Activision doesn't want the game to glitch, and that might be too difficult to code, which it really isn't. I'm sure it's simple, but they're lazy. Remember that. They're lazy. They like to copy and paste. One time we want them to copy and paste, they won't do it. They're trolls, right? Now, in their defense, there's a lot of retards out there that say they want something and they do the opposite. And or they say they want boots on the ground, then they're not happy. They say they want futuristic, then they're not happy. So that's us as a community that's sucking. We're saying we want something and we want what we never can have, but then when we have it, we're unsatisfied. That's humans as a species. But it is frustrating. So I can see their point of view. But as obnoxious as a fan base as we can be, they're more obnoxious because they do things that not only hurt us and piss us off and are just stupid or lazy or are counterproductive. It's more often than not they'll do something like this recent update where it's less user friendly. It pisses people off. There's nothing to gain from the fans. There's nothing to gain for the producers. I was talking about this previously. They did something so stupid it doesn't help anyone and for them because they're going to get complaints. So it literally sometimes they make a great system, sometimes they don't. Within Blackout, they made it from where you had to keep scrolling all the way to the left and all the way to the right. They made a little icon where you could pick and choose through the square menu, which is it took some getting used to and a little bit frustrating, but once you got the hang of it, it is more convenient. This is not more convenient. This is stupid, right? You know, if a Mastercraft is a type of camo, it should remain in the camo slot and not its own slot where you have to press extra buttons, and it makes it more complex.
All right, Geek Monster. Come to Mordor. Let us get this over with.